Jumping right in here, we've got an Atlanta Braves discussion for the offseason, since that's what this series is at this point. That's what I feel like talking about. We love the offseason, so that's what I'm talking about. Doing some yapping. As we can see on the screen, I think the most important part, and stemming from last season, aka 2024, is that asterisk at the bottom that says Acuna and Strider are currently injured. Now, what's funny is I meant to fix all the ends with the tilde, but it is what it is. It's fine. The rotation, it's not great. Max Fried's gone. Charlie Morton with his innings, maybe not the best quality, but he's produced on the mound for what he is. So then you'd be relying on Schwellenbach, which is fine, nothing wrong with that, even though you'd rather him be your 4 or 5. Anderson, you have no idea what you're getting after all the injuries, and Holmes, who knows. On the field, I don't like right field. I don't really like shortstop. I don't trust left field. So we need to work on that. Our off-season plan, as I just said, pretty much what I just said I wrote out. So, a serious point though is I don't necessarily trust an aging / older Chris Sale and Reynaldo Lopez, former White Sox, both of them, which is kind of ironic, to continue as well as they were. Now, it's possible. It's definitely possible. But I think if the Braves management is lazy, that is a recipe for disaster, especially with Strider still out. If they don't address the pen, which, as I said, bring back AJ Minter and probably add another 1 or 2 guys. They already got rid of Canning, who they had did the Solaire salary dump for. So that wasn't a serious move other than getting wages off. Again, as I said at the bottom here, the ideal offseason is re-sign Max Fried, which if it was going to happen, it would have already happened, I believe. Add Walker Buehler. I think his upside is much better than Morton, who may well retire anyway. Upgrade shortstop with Willy Adames. You can move Arcia if you want, and add either Max Kepler or Luis Robert for the outfield. We go over some targets. Again, the thinking here is we already discussed how easy it would be to plug in Willy Adames. So that's no fun, even if it's the best option. Instead, I've put some guys on here who I would consider. Trade for Nico Horner. That would make some sense. Put him at short. Sign a lefty, since basically all your middle infielders are right-handed predominantly. Even Albies, who his splits against right-handers are not great, and he's better from the right side of the plate. Take a risk on Moncada. Bring back Nicky Lopez, even though he was not great on the worst team almost in history. Or go with sort of a veteran, boring presence in Adam Frazier. Ha-Seong Kim makes some sense. He's not a bad hitter. A little expensive, but would be worth it, I believe. Outfield, as I said, I don't trust Kelenic or any of the guys at right, and Acuna's had his injury problems, which putting Luis Robert on here is funny, seeing as I just was talking about injury problems, and he's notorious for that. Thus, I'm thinking 1 or 2 from that first set of options, the cheap or mid-range. Lastly, with pitching, you've got Buehler, as I mentioned, Morton or Sasaki, and either for a lefty to replace Fried's left-handedness, for lack of a better word, you got Jordan Montgomery, and you could probably just flip them a prospect. I put a couple pitchers there and have the Diamondbacks eat a good amount of that money, maybe like $8 million, 7, let's just say 7.5, since Buehler and Morton are all probably getting about 15. So let's just say 3 different options for about 15 million. Sasaki would be amazing. I think that would be a transformative move for whoever gets him outside of the Dodgers, which he'll probably end up on the Dodgers. And Kikuchi is another option. He's much cheaper than Fried. Shorter deal, if you like that. Go over to what the lineup could look like in the rotation. You got Chris Sale leading it, Strider next in line once he's returned, Lopez in the 3, either Kikuchi or Montgomery as your 4, and we'll just go with Morton. I think that's probably realistic. I'm not sure who else would want him, and I don't know if he wants to retire yet, with Schwellenbach as your 6. After that, I suppose you have Smith-Shawver and Anderson as depth. Lineup, I just chose Moncada at second, just for the heck of it. I had Arcia staying, which a lot of people won't like, but I think they'll be cheap. Acuna comes back, you add Tommy Pham to be a platoon in left with Kalanick. You hope Harris stays healthy, you hope Acuna stays healthy, you hope Riley and Olsen stay healthy. You got Ozuna as your DH, and Murphy behind the plate. Hopefully he'll have a better year at the plate. And I more or less typed out a sample lineup for against righties and lefties. Next, we go on to prospects. As I mentioned, Smith-Shawver. Lots of right-handed pitching. A lot of right-handed pitching with some left-handers as well. Cam Caminiti is one not too far off. Maybe by 2027, you'll see him. High ceiling, only turned 18 recently. Nacho Alvarez had a little bit of time in the majors. We'll see what he ends up doing if he's allowed a chance. I didn't have them signing a catcher even with Darno leaving because Drake Baldwin's around and he's just waiting for his chance. Braves fans, I would love to hear what you all think about these prospects if you keep up with them. And on to the future. This is mostly looking at the contract situation, which I'm an Orioles fan, and this is a much different approach, which I actually kind of prefer in some ways. Isn't much different. I think it's different in that rather than have your guys play out their pre-arb and arb years and just be more or less cheap, they've signed guys long-term. So even when they go out and get Matt Olson, and they get Murphy, they're in for a while. Once Murphy's contract's up, Baldwin will probably be the starter anyway, or someone else. There's Acuna, and honestly, with his injury problems, who knows if he'll even be there longer term. Got your corner infielders there for a while. Strider's there for a few more years. As I said, if you could get Sasaki, Strider, a couple years of Sale left, that'd be pretty awesome. I think the future's solid. I'm not massively impressed. I think, again, if they're cheap and don't go with a high-end pitcher, don't go with a high-end shortstop like Willy Adames, I don't think they beat the Dodgers. I don't even know if they beat the Phillies and Mets. The Nationals, maybe not in the next year, but within 2 to 3, they should be back in contention. The Marlins are the Marlins. It is what it is. There's also, I suppose, not too much in the Central. So once you get to the playoffs, anything can happen. The Padres, with their owner's death, they're not going to be spending too much. So yeah, it's really the Dodgers and just your inner division competition, which depends what they do. If the Mets get Soto, if they spend the money they would have spent on Soto, they had like $150+ million coming off the books per year, and their owner wants to spend and win. Who knows if you're going to catch them? They already finished ahead of you in some ways. It'll be interesting. Braves fans, baseball fans in general, what do you all think? Thanks for watching.